Freddie Peterson. I am actually honored and privileged to be the general manager of the beautiful Miami Beach Convention Center, which is obviously behind the boat here. So a warm welcome. The Miami Beach Convention Center is obviously owned by the city of Miami Beach, and my company, Oakview Group, proudly manages the venue on behalf of Miami Beach. For over 80 years, the boat show has been an iconic Miami and Miami Beach event with 6 locations around the entire city. So I like to say this is actually the largest boat show on the planet. Super important to us in so many different ways. Here at the Convention Center in our amazing campus, which you're sitting in right now, we're very proud to host this annual event in our $640 million, newly renovated, expanded, and state-of-the-art world-class facility. Okay, I'll take that. We are grateful and thankful for our long-standing and truly remarkable partnership with Informa Markets. Thank you again, Informa Markets, for your ongoing commitment and investment into the Miami Beach Convention Center and obviously this amazing destination. In close coordination with the City of Miami Beach, all of our incredible destination partners and our teams, we collaborate year-round with outstanding partners like Informa Markets to host trade shows, meetings, conventions, and special events of the highest caliber from all over the globe. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the many government officials, community leaders, and supporters that are here with us today. Thank you to officials from our Miami-Dade Board of County Commissioners, City of Miami Beach Commissioners and Administration, City of Miami Commissioners and Aides, our wonderful partners, David Whitaker and the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau, our local business leaders, Chambers of Commerce and the DDA, and of course, the boat show's many exhibitors who can't wait to cut the ribbon and get everybody inside the building to begin shopping. But before we get to that, it gives me great pride to introduce our neighbors from across the street, the Miami Beach Senior High School Chorus, under the direction of Walter Busey, to lead us in the national anthem.
Good morning and welcome to the Miami International Boat Show. I'm Andrew Dool with Informa Markets. I'd like to thank the governor for being here today and the fabulous weather we've got for this weekend, a lot better than last year. Last week, the City Commission, Miami Beach City Commission, voted in favor of the yacht show returning to Miami Beach. And we're truly excited to return to Miami Beach and the glamour of Miami Beach. And I'd like to thank all the commissioners, Commissioner Suarez, Dominguez, and Magazine for leading the charge and helping us make that happen. I really appreciate it. I'd also like to thank everybody in the administration that worked so hard with us. Raquel, Eric, Lisette, thank you so much. and also the teams that are on our side, that Spencer Crowley, Bob Goodman, the Evoke team, with Robin. Thank you all so much for helping make that happen. We really appreciate it, and we are truly excited to come back to the beach with the yachts. Thank you. Please, I'd like to introduce Frank Hugelmeyer with NMMA.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? My name is Frank Hugelmeyer. I'm President and CEO of the National Marine Manufacturers Association. We're the owners of the Discover Boating Miami International Boat Show, and I couldn't be more excited to both thank you and welcome all of you for joining us at the kickoff of the Miami International Boat Show. I would also like to recognize our close partners, Paul Flannery with the International Yacht Brokers Association, who are our close partners in putting this event on, as well as Informa Markets, who are our close partners as well in producing the event. So thank you all. The next 5 days right now are the recreational boating industry's flagship event in the world and the premier platform to showcase world-class marine products, the greatest innovations for over 110,000 attendees each and every year here to Miami Beach and Miami City, the city of Miami. Recreational boating in the country, and recreational boating and fishing particularly, are the primary drivers of America's $1.2 trillion outdoor recreation economy that drives 2.3% of the U.S. GDP. The incredible experiences that we provide in the recreational boating industry drive $230 billion in the nation each and every year in economic activity that's critical to the health and wellness of millions of Americans, but also 36,000 businesses, 800,000 jobs across the nation, and countless waterfront communities just like Miami Beach, as well as the city of Miami. So together with our partners at Informa, the International Yacht Brokers Association, the governor, all of our valued community hosts and the commissioners here in the mayor offices at Miami Beach and the city of Miami, we are so excited to officially open the doors to this year's Discover Boating Miami International Boat Show. Now, Florida specifically is actually the home and the capital in the world of boating. It's the perennial top-ranking state for boat sales, for boat registrations, for participation, for industry jobs, for industry businesses. So it should be no surprise at all that the leader of this great state is a very strong supporter of the marine industry and a champion of what we're trying to do to grow the outdoor recreation economy in the country. So it's my great honor to welcome the Honorable Governor of the great state of Florida, Ron DeSantis.
Well, good morning. You can't beat this weather. This is Chamber of Commerce weather. It's hard to believe that, and we have a big state, but I think it was 3 weeks ago, we had record snowfall in parts of Florida. Up in Northwest Florida, our previous record had been 4 inches. We actually got 10 inches of snow in Milton, Florida, and it's a type of thing you're used to us responding to hurricanes and other types of disasters. Usually we don't have to do the blizzards, but we actually ramped up. We surged snow plows and salt, things that we're not usually used to. But the reason why we did it is because, you know, Florida driving leaves something to be desired anyways. Now, it's not as bad up there as it is down here, but still, you know, you put Floridians on roads with ice, and we were like, is there going to be massive pileups? And so it ended up going as smooth as I think it could have been. It's something that those kids will always remember. We're too far south here in Miami. It would take a biblical event to ever have that, but I do not ever want to have to see South Florida drivers having to navigate icy roads. I think that would be really, really bad. We're also excited to be down here in Miami Beach, and I know some of the commissioners are here, and I just want to say we've enjoyed working with officials down here in Miami Beach on a number of issues, but particularly more recently to make sure we preserve the quality of life through the spring break time period. We are not going to have our streets overrun. We're not going to have businesses threatened or damaged, and we're going to make sure that the people who live here are going to be able to enjoy being down here. So last year was a really great effort where we teamed up. We provided resources, and I don't think that they could have done it any more successfully than that. So we know we're gearing up again, and you have the state of Florida support to make sure we keep order in the court. We want everyone to have fun, but we do not want Miami Beach to be the place where people think the inmates can run the asylum. That doesn't work for us here. It doesn't work for our businesses or economy. So let's build off the success we did last year and make sure that people are continuing to have great quality of life. I actually have an announcement kind of related to Marine before I get into the Marine announcement, but hot off the presses, I can say that for 2024, Florida broke yet another record for tourism. So the new data is 142.9 million travelers to Florida. That is a pretty good increase over 2023. That's the highest on record, including almost 30 million in the fourth quarter alone, including almost 3 million overseas visitors, and we know a lot of that is here in South Florida. So we're really excited that our tourism industry is humming. One of the things that was really important for the marine industry was the fact that we were open during COVID, because what happened was you had people fleeing Illinois, New York, all these places where they had really draconian policies. So they'd come to Florida. A lot of them just bought houses and decided they're going to live here. And it's kind of like, if you live in Colorado and you don't know how to ski, well, if you're in Florida, you kind of got to get used to fishing and boating. It's just kind of what we do, right? And so you ended up seeing this massive boom in boat sales and manufacturing, and that was at a time when people were really concerned about the underlying health of the economy, and there was a real positive shot in the arm. That wasn't just limited to Florida folks that are in the industry, but clearly our folks here did very good, and so we were proud to be able to be there, to be able to create that pathway so people could enjoy Florida, enjoy their lives, enjoy their freedom. I remember when people were trying to say, like, oh, it's bad, Florida has people fishing and boating, how could you do that during COVID? Yeah, I don't think you're going to catch COVID, fishing in the ocean. Like, that's just typically not the way it was. So a lot of the policies we saw people fleeing didn't make sense. So they came here, they did a really good job, and the results really speak for themselves. This is a major, major engine for the state of Florida. Recreational boating is over $31 billion annually for this state. But get this, that's a 53% increase just since 2018 alone. So that is really, really good. We have 7,000 marine businesses here in the state of Florida, over 100,000 jobs across the state. We consistently ranked, as was mentioned, #1 in marine expenditures and boat registrations. That obviously is great business. We are the fishing and boating capital of the United States and really of the entire world. And that's made apparent for anyone that knows this industry. We did a trade mission over to Italy. We were going to some of their the shipyards, and it's like Florida's their #1 customer on these boats. Some of them are normal boats, some of them are pretty extravagant, but any way you slice it, we're #1. We've also worked in other ways to support the industry. The last couple years, we've done our Freedom Sales Tax Holiday Initiative over the summer. We are asking that be renewed again this year, and I think that there's support to do that. But it allows Floridians to purchase recreational supplies as well as engage in activities tax-free. So fishing supplies, boating and water activities, other things you need to be able to enjoy being out on Florida waters. We want to be tax-free. We want you to do it. We've also helped our anglers by providing discounts on sportsman hunting and fishing licenses. Through this initiative, we were able to issue more than 75,000 gold sportsman licenses. that generated $24 million in revenue for the state, but more importantly, it expanded the footprint of anglers throughout the state of Florida. We also know that some people may be new to fishing, and we wanted to be able to allow them to purchase a combined annual fresh and saltwater combo license for a measly $5. And so I appreciate FWC and our agencies working hard to be able to do that. It's really important. Now, we want to be able to do even more for the boating industry and for our anglers. There's a lot of different things that people have proposed. We've taken that feedback, and I'm pleased to announce today that we want to make sure that the free state of Florida lives up to that reputation on the waters in and around the state of Florida. We do not want to have our boaters to be unnecessarily interfered with by sometimes well-meaning law enforcement, but sometimes it doesn't work. So today we are announcing a Boater Freedom Initiative. We want to establish a right to boat in the state of Florida by preempting local regulations that ban the sale or use of boats based on fuel sources. People are moving away from doing this by going against the gas-powered cars, but we've already done that for cars, but we also need to make sure for boats. You don't need to be driving an electric boat if you don't want to. You have the ability to do gas, and we want to be able to preserve your freedom to be able to do that. We also want to right a wrong that has been an issue in this state for far too long. We want to bring it to end. Look, current law allows both state and local law enforcement to pull a boater over when no probable cause or suspected violation has occurred and conduct inspections. Now, inspections may include personal property searches, sometimes leading to further law enforcement action beyond mere safety compliance. And while the legislature has previously tried to address this, we still have the problem. We even had the situation out of Jupiter, got all those millions and millions of views on the internet, where you had somebody pulled over for supposedly driving a boat under the influence and then blows a zero breathalyzer, and then they still went after them, and that's unacceptable. So therefore, as part of our initiative, we will end this practice by prohibiting the use of safety inspection as a probable cause to pull over the boater. If you have a reason to do it, if there's probable cause, just like you would do anything, then by all means do it. But people who are just out enjoying themselves, when there's no indication that anything is wrong, they should not be subjected to these intensive searches. And so this is a fair and balanced approach. If somebody's breaking the law, they will be held accountable. But if you're pulled over while you're in a boat, it has to be a reason. You can't just do it for kicks. There's got to be a reason. And I think the overwhelming number of our law enforcement do that anyways, but we have had instances where it's run or why. We're also going to direct the FWC to work with tax collectors to proactively provide a Florida Freedom Boater decal at registration. This will reassure law enforcement that the boater has done the due diligence of inspecting and maintaining proper boater safety requirements. We very much value FWC. We value our other state and local officials who patrol our waterways. They do a lot of important work. We've had Operation Vigilant Sentry. People said there was going to be a massive numbers of boats from the Caribbean with instability, and they've been in and they've been able to hold the line and be able to protect our coastline as well as doing what they do. So it's been really, really important. But by eliminating unwarranted vessel inspections without probable cause, we believe FWC officers can better allocate resources and time to cases where there's a clear need for intervention, protecting our wildlife, and ultimately doing the work that they originally signed up to do. This change will help provide better relations between officers and the boating community. It'll ensure that inspections are conducted based on legitimate concerns rather than arbitrary pick-and-choose enforcement. This strikes an appropriate balance between ensuring compliance with boating laws and reducing unnecessary disruptions of law-abiding boaters, making enforcement more practical and effective. So we believe in boater freedom. We believe in people that are acting responsibly, managing and shepherding their vessels should be treated like adults. And if they're doing something wrong, then that's one thing. But to just have random inspections that are very intrusive, we don't think makes sense. I'm also pleased to reiterate my call to have a marine two-month marine fuel tax holiday for vessel fuels for our Florida boaters. We want this, yep. We want this to run from Memorial Day weekend through July 4th. We think it's a way to save our boaters and our anglers a lot of money on fuel for their vessels. And so we're going to keep doing what we can to make Florida great for boating and for fishing, support a really critical industry. And I will just say, with the tax savings and some of the things that we're looking to do overall, they just had the inflation report come out, and this is kind of like the last inflation report for the Biden administration, and the inflation is accelerating. It's accelerated the last 4 months. This report this morning was really a disaster. You're seeing huge spikes in things like auto insurance, although, our carriers just announced they're going to reduce, Geico said they're going to reduce an average of 10% in Florida, and Progressive said an average of 8% in Florida. Around the country, this is going through the roof. Housing costs are still high. Food, there's really no let-up in this inflation. So some of the things we do, and we have done over the past couple years, we did the reduction in tolls by 50% for our commuters. They get the rebate at the end of the month. That's been going on for almost 2 years. We're proud of having done that. We eliminated sales tax entirely on all baby items so that people can raise families, because we know it's not easy to do. We do the back-to-school sales tax holiday, disaster prep. We do all this. This Marine, as well as Freedom Summer, will be great for summer recreation, and we're happy to do that, and we'll continue to do whatever we can. But just keep in mind, this inflation is not going to get under control until your elected officials in Congress stop spending so much money. That is what is driving it. Milton Friedman, great economist, used to always say, you always end up one way or another having a balanced budget. It may not be balanced on paper, but if they're spending and borrowing, you end up paying for it in the form of higher costs with inflation anyways. So the inflation's as if they taxed you. It's just an invisible tax that hits you as a consequence of spending too much money. So Florida, we're happy to be able to do whatever we need to do, but the reality is our budget's $116 billion. The feds are spending $6 trillion or whatever it has gone, $6.5 trillion, $7 trillion. They need to moderate that. We need to get interest rates down for people, and we need to make sure that prices are more affordable. And if they continue doing what's been done, I just don't see it moderating given the data that we're now seeing, and that is going to be a big crunch on a lot of very hardworking people, not just in Florida, but all throughout the country. So Florida, #1 for boating, #1 for fishing, #1 for weather this time of year, of course, #1 for order in the court during spring break, #1 for low taxes, and hopefully, we'll be able to reap the benefits of some changes in how your federal government is spending your money. Thank you. God bless you.
Great. Thank you, Governor, for wonderful remarks, and we all love to be #1. I'd like to welcome now to the stage our elected officials in Miami Beach administration to join in the official ribbon cutting ceremony. Thank you all for attending today, by the way.